Tom, welcome. I mean, you just heard Kate's report there. We're talking about summer jobs, but let's broaden it out and talk about jobs, that monthly jobs number coming out today. I mean, dare I even ask what kind of an estimate you may have on that number? And does the estimate even matter? Because we know it's going to be terrible nonetheless.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I mean, I think this might be the least anticipated, worst jobs number, maybe in history. This number has been flagged for so long at this point. We knew it from claims weeks back. ADP obviously gave us a flag on that earlier in the week. So yeah, we're looking for about a 20 million decline in in the number of employed for this month. Unemployment rate probably drifts up to 17%. And look, again, as I think you said, everyone's pretty much anticipating this. I think if people wanted to latch on to one thing to watch, I think one of the interesting things will be the number of people that have been unemployed and put on temporary layoff. We saw a pretty sizable increase in that last month. I think if you continue to see another increase there, I think it sort of gives you some hope that some of these people could come back pretty quickly.
Yeah. Because what we are looking for, I would imagine, Tom, is that turn, that moment where we stop saying on CNBC every Thursday morning with the weekly jobless numbers and the monthly jobless numbers that things have turned for the better. Do you see that anywhere in the near future?
Interestingly enough, you sort of do. And again, let me be clear on what I mean by turn. I mean, I think people just want things to go back to where they were quickly. There's a process. The process is going to be things are going to peak and then they're going to start the slow process of improving. And look, you can lay claim to that idea with jobless claims. I mean, jobless claims peaked at about 7 million and now we're running at around 3. If our estimate for next week is right, you're going to be closer to 2. So that slow process is unwinding. I would also highlight this data from Homebase. It's something we've been really touting in our research. They're like a small business payroll management company. And one interesting thing there, and they have state-by-state data on a daily basis. And one thing that we're seeing there is that, again, the process of improvement is underway. Again, I want to be very clear. The process is going to be elongated and slow. But again, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking at right now, actually. Some of this data that
exactly.
you pointed out to
there.
me. Some of this Montana stuff, I mean, it's hard to believe we're looking at like Montana to figure out, okay, when are people going to start coming back to work? Now, here's a difficult question, Tom. From the economic perspective, the job loss numbers are massive. Most of those people are in the leisure and hospitality industries. Any indication that, I mean, we started to see with United Airlines announcing, management job cuts that we're starting to hit all sectors of the labor force, or is it really confined right now because those jobs do have the ability to come back more quickly?
Yeah, definitely. And look, and again, it's not even remotely close to being broadened out at this point. I mean, it's a slow process. I mean, again, in that note that we highlighted, again, I feel like a microeconomist on some level. It was, we were looking at Montana because Montana is one of these states that you're starting to see a turn, right? But again, I think what we have to critically keep in mind is, okay, well, some states are going to be reopening, but what percent of the labor backdrop do they account for? And the reality is in some of these early opening states, they account for a really small percent of the total labor force. But nevertheless, that's how you need to start this process of understanding how things are opening up. And it's going to start with the early reopenings.
So again, the jobs number is a big deal, but we know it's going to be bad. What micro numbers maybe else should we be looking at? What indicators have changed for you and your team, Tom?
Yeah, so I think that this is key, right? I mean, alternative data, quote unquote alternative data, I think are really going to be much more important than, looking at, sort of like today's Friday's payroll report. I think things like Homebase are going to be critical. I think you can get some really useful information from Google Trends. Again, Google Trends right now, this is shocking for us, but we're using Google Trends on a pretty regular basis to try to sort of model out what's going to happen from a claims perspective. And it's working. It's working pretty well. So high frequency data is really key. Things that come out like on a daily basis. I mean, those are just two that we're watching now. There's countless others that we have in the queue.